Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to take a second to remind you, please hit that subscribe button, and if you like what we're doing and want to make a donation, you can do that via Cash App at American Made Channel. Now, let's jump into the video.
We watched, John Gotti Junior came to the Bergen Club each day. Being the acting boss, and that's what the FBI says he is, he derives his power from his father, who will remain boss in jail. But that makes Junior the street boss, the youngest in history. That means between visits to his father once a month in Marion prison, he calls the shots.
Everywhere you go, you're there.
Yeah, is it true that you're the new boss of the Gambino crime family?
Absolutely not. I'm the boss of my wife and my children.
My name is John A. Gotti. I am the son of John J. Gotti, who's probably the most famous or infamous street person, possibly in the last 100 years. When you see these individuals being released early from prison, you've got a second shot at life. But rather than go on with your life and tend to your wife and your children's needs and be a tax-paying pillar of the community, you want to be a star. You want to go do movies and books, and you want to threaten people on the internet, and you want to get involved in crimes, in some cases murders, frauds, and other crimes. Okay, you were just given a deal. You were given. Somebody played God and gave you back your life. And you think you have the right now to abuse that. And what's happening is that, again, I'm going to say this over and over again, certain handlers, certain individuals, it's not an indictment of the FBI, it's not an indictment of the Marshal Service. Because the Marshal Service, like I said, is pretty much innocent in this process. But it comes down to law enforcement and the handlers. Certain select group of them are facilitating these individuals and have knowledge of these individuals breaking the laws, committing crimes, and they're dangerous individuals. You've given people absolution for murders. And again, this is not an indictment of the process. This is not an indictment of the Marshal Service or an indictment of the FBI, because it's really not the Marshal Service. The Marshal Service runs a very tight, stringent program. What happens is the individual has the ability to sign themselves out of that program. They don't want to adhere to the rules of the Marshal Service. So they sign themselves out of the program, but what do? They call up their handler, their FBI handler, their law enforcement handler. And that handler, more times than not, well, I can't say more times, in certain cases, the cases that I've come across my desk that I'm profiling in my book, they facilitated them being released, and they facilitated giving them monthly stipends from the FBI, and putting them back right out in the street, relocating them to the old community, and they've been facilitating them, in the case of at least John Alite, definitely, facilitating with all former Confederates that were drug dealers, that were involved in other murders, all government cooperators, okay, that live in Freehold, New Jersey, and other areas. They put them close together. In fact, in the case of John Alite, he was living right next door to another government cooperator. Okay, that was facilitated by their handlers. Okay, there's no other excuse for it. There's no other way you can explain it. That's where the problem comes in. It's an indictment, not of the process. It's an indictment. It's not an indictment of the marshals. It's not an indictment of the FBI. It's an indictment of certain individuals, certain handlers that feel they almost play the role of God. I forgive you. You can't live next door to me, but you can go back to your old neighborhood again and do whatever you want. The witness protection program has its flaws, and Congress knows this, because Congress has been trying to address this for many years. But you have to start from the very beginning, the process. The process starts with the first time a individual wants to become a cooperator, he goes into a meeting which is called a proffer session, okay? Sometimes they give him out, they're called Queen for a Day, which amounts to nothing. It's just people feeling each other's pulses, okay? Other times it amounts to it's the first step to leading all the way down this road of becoming a government cooperator. Now, you'd have to start with that first, okay? The process, the 302 process, is so corrupt that it basically, at the end of the day, amounts to the FBI agent writing a script for the proposed or potential cooperator, so that cooperator can follow that script so they can accomplish their objective, okay? So the whole process that starts this whole thing off, leading to a person becoming a cooperator, is compromised, it's corrupted.